The wait is over, and WFXR Sports has your first look at all the action. WFXR Sports Countdown to Kickoff starts now.
Oh boy, we are ready for kickoff. We welcome you to Blacksburg, where the countdown to kickoff is on, alongside Jermaine Ferrell. I'm David DeGuzman, and Jermaine, it's quiet now, but that's going to change pretty soon.
I tell you, the noise decibels will go up by a bunch here when you have Inner Sandman, David, rocking and rolling on the scene. As Saturday night, this place is just going to be excitement. And over the next 30 minutes, we're going to check out the Cavaliers, the Cadets, and the Flames.
But first, we're going to start with the Virginia Tech Hokies. The last time Virginia Tech took the field, the Hokies beat Liberty, the high point of an otherwise underwhelming 3-8 season.
It's a great feeling. Looking back, you know, it sucks that we couldn't have the season that we initially wanted.
Since then, Brent Pry has worked on changing the culture in Blacksburg, setting the standard and preaching accountability.
That's our very first fundamental. You know, guys understanding that everything they do, it matters. And you got a lot of people that are counting on you to do the right things. To accomplish the mission, we all got to be accountable, you know, to what we're responsible for.
The second-year head coach is sticking with Grant Wells as the starting quarterback, hoping year 2 at QB1 yields better results offensively.
But Grant, his consistency throughout spring, summer, camp, his accuracy throwing the ball, his decision-making, you know, now he's got to go out there and do it in week 1. I have a lot of faith that he will.
All year I understood what they wanted me to work on and get better at, and I prioritized that pretty hard.
The preseason poll has the Hokies picked to finish 11th in the ACC, but Pry's priority is to return the program back to its winning ways.
You know, I think it's important to know that, you know, we're building a program here from the ground up.
And with that, we bring in the one and only Hall of Famer Mike Burnip, former tight end turned radio analyst. And Mike, I feel like a lot of fans are hoping for a better season than last year.
Yeah, it's only got one way to go, and that's up after winning 3 games last year. Brent Pry revamped the whole rosters. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of new kids. Went to the transfer portal and got a bunch of kids, a bunch of dudes that can play, and we're looking forward to that.
But, Mike, of course, everything starts with offense. Grant Wells named the quarterback. How do you feel he'll navigate through these waters the second season around?
You know, when you look at it, Jermaine, you think about it. He started 2 years at Marshall. Last year he started all those games here. I think he's poised and ready to have a great season. You know, he got him and Tebow, Tyler Bowen, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach now. They're on the same page. They're in that office every day going stuff. And when you watched him, especially in that last scrimmage, he had full command of the offense. I mean, Chris Marv was throwing everything under the sun at him, blitzes, but he kept the drive extended with his arm, with his feet, with the running game. That certainly will help. And I think he's ready to have a great year.
Well, Grant's going to have a variety of options to choose from a revamped running back room to tons of weapons in the wide receiver room, including Ollie Jennings. The ODU transfer is going to face his former team. But who stands out to you on that offense?
I think for me it's Bashal Tootin. You know, we haven't seen a lot of him. He got banged up a little bit, but that kid, I mean, he can play. 1,300 yards last year. I think he had 13 rushing touchdowns himself, and he can flat out get it done. I saw him catch a screen pass in spring practice, and he took it to the house. Broke a couple tackles. He's an explosive guy, and that has helped Malachi Thomas get his attention. So you got a good 1-2 punch there. 3.1 yards a carry last year, not good enough. The running game is the quarterback's best friend.
And, of course, the biggest thing, the lunch pail defense. Brent Pry, really known for that defense, but there's a lot of freshmen over there in that 2-deep lineup. So how do you think that defense is going to shake out going ahead?
Well, there's a lot of talent there for sure, and those guys coming back have a ton of experience. It's all Chris Marv now, and I think he's got enough confidence in those 8 guys up front there that can rush the passer that he's going to turn those guys on the outside loose. You're going to see much more blitzing this year, much more one-on-one on the outside and coverage. He's got the confidence to be able to do that. And the 2 defensive ends, you know, you think about APR, Antoine Powell-Ryland. He's a new guy from Florida that came in. He's a big impact player, as is Burgos. So I think the future's really, really bright for this defense this year.
Mike Burnip, we appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much, and have a great call this season. We're going to stick with talking about the Hokies defense, though, with a look at a guy who is leading the lunch pail defense this year. He was just named captain last weekend. Josh Fuga, hoping his legacy will extend far beyond the field here at Lane Stadium.
I just want to make it known that, like, I'm a people's person before I'm a football player, you know.
Josh Fuga carries the weight of multiple responsibilities heading into his 5th season at Virginia Tech. His primary duty, leading the trademark lunch pail defense back to its glory days after a 3-8 season.
This is the standard, and our standard is excellence. This is excellence right here. This is what everything that this program is built on.
Fuga's role as a leader was well earned. He became a major contributor last season on the defensive line and a trusted spokesperson for Virginia Tech, echoing the values Brent Pry has been preaching during the offseason.
It's the culture that's the difference, that changed over the time. How to really be a man before a player, how to do things right, how to hold yourself accountable in the right or wrong.
Well, playing for Virginia Tech is one thing, but Josh Fuga shoulders another responsibility. His mom is a native Hawaiian, his dad hails from American Samoa, and his grandmother is a proud Filipina. So it's no wonder why Josh Fuga doesn't shy away from displaying his Polynesian pride.
In Blacksburg, so I'm probably, if not one of the few, Polynesian descent that's over there. And I just know that I'm representing a whole entire culture, in Blacksburg, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything right, for what our culture stands on, which is family and sacrifices. I just want to make sure that I'm actually upholding to that standard.
An incredibly high standard that Fuga plans on exceeding every single day.
And still to come on Countdown to Kickoff, how the University of Virginia plans to heal from unthinkable tragedy with football. We'll hear from Mike Hollins as the program moves forward.
Plus, a new era begins in Lynchburg as Jamie Chadwell takes the Flames into Conference USA. A look at Liberty's new head coach when Countdown to Kickoff continues.
Now, back to WFXR Sports Countdown to Kickoff.
Just kind of leaning on my faith and understanding that, you got to consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because that develops your character, that develops your perseverance. And so, when I sit here today, that's what I lean on, is the ability to say, what, in tough times you got to put your head down. You got to stay centered, you got to stay grounded, you got to stay focused on what you believe in and persevere, and then that's going to lead to brighter days ahead.
That was my conversation with Virginia head football coach Tony Elliott last February. He shares how leaning on his faith has helped him during any type of adversity.
Of course, the Cavaliers faced the unimaginable last fall when a shooting on campus took the lives of 3 UVA football players. Mike Hollins survived the tragedy, and Jermaine, you got a chance to speak with the running back as he gets ready to return to the field.
Well, David, if Mike Hollins said, hey, I don't want to come back and play football, he wouldn't owe us any explanation. But with Hollins on the gridiron, those emotions are running good there, and his road back to playing football at the Cavaliers is second to none.
I don't see a way that this season can be a failure, no matter the record, no matter the ending, no matter anything, as long as we go out there and play. And like the first question that was asked, we're doing their legacy justice. Because we're here.
For Mike Hollins and the entire Virginia program, this season is about much more than football. When you look at Hollins, you wouldn't have thought he survived a shooting that took the lives of his teammates, Devin Chandler, Deshaun Perry, and Lavelle Davis Jr.
Well, it took me a while. It was hard to, come into these same walls in the same locker room after seeing what I saw.
After months of physical and mental rehab, Hollins got back on the field. In the spring game last April, number 7 topped it all off by getting into the end zone for 6. An experience Hollins says was therapeutic.
But I know I did feel blessed in that moment, walking on the field. And when I first, touched the field and got to play, I just felt free from, my mind and, thinking about, what's going on in the circumstances I'm in. It was a lot easier just to, play ball, and that's what I felt during the spring game.
Physically, Hollins feels 100% to tackle 2023. With the season opener on the horizon, he says he'll approach it with the same spirit and passion he has with everything in his life.
I'm ready, though. I'm ready for it. I know I need to go through it. I can't go around it. I have to, go face it head on. and I'm excited.
And we're going to stick with talking about the Cavaliers. It was just 3 years ago when linebacker Nick Jackson was running routes and winning championships over at North Cross. Now you can find him in Charlottesville, entering his junior year with UVA football. And as WFXR's Ryan Moy explains, he's got to catch up with the guy who's trying to develop himself in this upcoming developmental year with the Cavaliers.
During his time with the Cavaliers, James Jackson has seen his fair share of obstacles on and off the field.
Being on the field, last season, the first game was my first start. So being kind of in that role, it was a great experience, and it was a tough experience. I mean, you can go back and find some times that I wasn't where I was supposed to be, and that was part of it, man. Just learning that, and off the field, learning how to carry myself.
Well, for Jackson, the game of football continues to take him to new heights, especially right here at the University of Virginia, where he's looking to take his talent to another level this season. And you know what? He's quickly becoming one of the go-to guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Playing linebacker, you're kind of in the middle of the defense, so you got a lot of responsibility in there. So trying to continue to step into that. Had a lot of guys who I've learned from, so I've been blessed to be around people who have showed me how to play the position right. And yeah, my goals this season just keep getting better, and I think I had. Last season, I had a lot of progress, so from my first season, and continuing to build on that.
According to Jackson, he wouldn't be playing on the collegiate level if it weren't for his immediate family and the brothers he's bonded with in the locker room.
I love this game. I've had a lot of people who have poured into me over the years, and I want to honor them and make them proud, and also just play to the best of my ability, man. I want to take all my talents that I have and just keep building and max it out, go as far as I can.
As Jackson's role continues to develop, there's no ceiling to his success on or off the field this year at the University of Virginia. In Charlottesville, Ryan Moy, WFXR Sports.
And coming up next on Countdown to Kickoff, we explore the spiritual side of Colin Ironside. Get to know the VMI quarterback looking to make a comeback on the other side of the break.
Back to WFXR Sports Countdown to Kickoff.
I think a lot of our guys have a little chip on their shoulder, like for different reasons, and you might even say I have a chip on my shoulder. So it's
That's good.
It's the party line right now.
Well, he's coached at Liberty, at Richmond, and most recently at Delaware, having success at those 3 stops. Now Danny Rocco set to make his head coaching debut and have a winning season with the Cadets at the Virginia Military Institute. And welcome back to Countdown to Kickoff.
Well, she's been everywhere.
I know. He's like Johnny Cash. I've been everywhere. But here's something that's big. The Southern Conference not showing the crew from Lexington any respect. Got them to pick last in the conference after going 1-10 in that campaign in 2022.
Yeah, talk about a chip on your shoulder, but that is not phasing redshirt junior quarterback Colin Ironside, who's back after he suffered an injury that cut his last season short. And now, as he comes back to the field, he looks back on his time on the sideline last year that actually brought him closer to his faith.
I feel like I have something to prove personally. It's definitely been quite the journey. I wasn't too familiar with the school. I knew it was a military school. Like, I didn't know too much about the rat line or anything. So, when I got here, it was a pretty big wake-up call. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, the first couple of weeks, it was rough. It's definitely taught me to persevere. It's been a blessing. This is never a school I saw myself ending up at, but I know God's got a purpose in everything, and I'm really glad this is where it ended up being.
Ironside, right up the middle. He's got room. Touchdown, VMI.
I would say I've seen a lot of spiritual growth in my life. I've always been taking my religion very seriously. But college, I kind of took it to a whole nother level. Really, from a spiritual perspective, I've grown a ton as learning to lead people. You just know you have God by your side. That gives me so much peace and comfort. Just knowing that I can use football as a platform to spread my faith to other people, just sharing what I believe. I just value hard work. I've always been someone who tries to work hard and give everything I got. I already know there's going to be a ton of energy. We got a chip on our shoulder. We're extra motivated after last year, so absolutely ready for that one.
You can hear it in his voice. He's ready to get back on the field, and we're looking forward to seeing that and what he can do this season.
That's how I love when they say chip on the shoulder, because you want to knock that chip the boulder off or something.
Gets you fired up.
I know, gets you. I'm ready to roll. I want to play for him right now, but we're going to be on the L train, David.
Okay.
Because we were in Lexington. Now we're going to go to Lynchburg. We're going to talk about the Liberty Flames as, of course, they get ready for their season with their first year under Jamie Chadwell.
Yeah, a new era for the Flames, a new conference as they head to Conference USA, and yet, as you mentioned, a new coach. But as WFXR's Ryan Moy explains, Jamie Chadwell already facing adversity following the death of a freshman offensive lineman.
On Sunday, August 6th, Liberty University announced the death of Taj Boyd, a freshman offensive lineman who joined the program in January. Police later revealing the 19-year-old from Chesapeake had died by suicide. Head coach Jamie Chadwell addressed the sudden unexpected loss of one of his players in a press conference 5 days later.
To know there's so many people that are praying for your community, your team, that obviously have experienced loss, and they can, whether that's just listening or whether that's just a word of encouragement, it gets you through.
With the tragedy still fresh on their minds, Chadwell is making sure the Flames get the support they need while staying mentally prepared for the season.
It's been challenging, to say the least, to try to navigate both sides of that issue, but I think our team's handled it and adjusted it the best that you could ask them to do as we continue to move forward.
Chadwell arrived here in Lynchburg back in December with high optimism that he can take the Flames to new heights.
But I was craving to be back in an environment like this. It's a special, special place. I know it's got special people. To have the opportunity to take this football program to the next level in Conference USA, to compete for conference championships, start in 2024, start competing for the CFP.
So far, Chadwell has seen development from parts of his roster, with questions still to answer elsewhere.
You know, I think everybody's had their days a little bit. I think as a whole, probably defensively is ahead. Just from a standpoint of D-line, linebacker, secondary, there's some impact players at all levels there. I think from an offensive standpoint, trying to determine your quarterback, that slows you down a little bit from developing as much as you want to, because you're trying to figure out who's going to be that guy.
In the aftermath of losing a teammate, the Flames hope football can aid in the healing process.
I think you got to find your sanctuary, among the challenges of life. And for these guys, that can be their sanctuary for 2 hours or whatever it may be. And so I think it allows them to get some of the emotions out as well and bring some of the emotions up, and so, but they need it more than ever now.
In Lynchburg, Ryan Moy, WFXR Sports.
And our thoughts are certainly with the Flames and the family of Taj Boyd. If you or someone you know is in crisis, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is on your screen right now. That's 988.
Now, back to WFXR Sports Countdown to Kickoff.
And we're back, more Countdown to Kickoff. David, it's been a while since, going back to school for me, maybe north of 30 years. But the question I used to ask, and I'm going to ask you this, how was your summer?
Mine was good. Thank you for asking. Apparently, this was the summer of movies and concert going, so that question inevitably brings up two follow-up questions. Barbie or Oppenheimer, and Taylor Swift or Beyonce? Well, we asked these very important questions to a few Hokies, and here's what they had to say.
I gotta know, have you seen any movies recently?
Movies recently. I'm not a big movie buff.
Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer, easy one.
Did you see the movie?
I did.
Your thoughts?
I thought it was great. It was well directed.
So I saw Barbie with my girlfriend, and then a few days later, I went and saw Oppenheimer.
I think it's very confusing for the audience, definitely, because not everyone is understanding of what's going on in the movie.
Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I have not seen Barbie. I have seen Oppenheimer.
Thoughts?
I liked it. It was a bit long, but it was one movie I probably have to see again to understand it all.
Talk to me a little bit about Barbie. People have been having some serious experiences with this movie. Talk to me a little bit about that.
I just know for me, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was touching. There was some funny moments.
It feels like a perfect night.
The most important question of all, Taylor Swift or Beyonce?
Ooh, that's a great question.
22, that song is amazing.
I grew up listening to country, so I gotta go with Taylor Swift.
Summer concert, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, or I'll throw this one in for you, Luke Combs.
Probably Luke Combs. Yeah, I like country music, so I'd probably go see him.
I said Beyonce because, man, that voice is beautiful. And then on top of that, she's beautiful.
Taylor Swift or Beyonce concert?
Taylor Swift.
So then what Taylor Swift song best describes you?
And then, you know.
You looking too much into it, man.
What you mean? That's simple. That's simple. So.
Can I name a favorite?
Yeah, sure.
I like our song, one.
Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
My girlfriend.
Alan Tisdale there with the right answer, definitely. Quick, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Neither.
Okay, and Taylor Swift or Beyonce?
My wife, Yolanda Ferrell.
Oh, got it. I think I'm going to be happy that we can all just talk about football now.
There
So
you
let's
go
go ahead and take a look at the Week 1 matchups. Virginia kicking things off against Tennessee in Nashville at noon, while the Jamie Chadwell era begins in Lynchburg. Liberty playing Bowling Green also at noon.
And meanwhile, Danny Rocco gets things started. VMI hosting Davidson at 1:30. Then Old Dominion and Virginia Tech under the lights at Lane Stadium, 8 o'clock. Well, that does it for this edition of Countdown to Kickoff.
For Jermaine Ferrell, I'm David DeGuzman. Enjoy Week 1 of the college football season.